Hello everyone, and welcome back to another review from the Dwarven Tavern. I am Dr. Jeff was your host, and this time as a departure from our usual, we've been doing a lot of Pathfinder lately, and a lot of Paizo stuff because they're awesome folks and they send me a lot of stuff to review. I'm going to take a bit of a reprieve from that and explain or review this book. This is the Traveler Central Supply Catalog from Mongoose Publishing, and they're also great guys. I love the guys at Mongoose because they're good folks. I mean, it's nice to have good stuff and good material, but it's even better to be nice people because that's what it's all about. And these guys are really cool. Very specifically, Mark Miller and Matthew. Forgive me, I don't know if it's Sprang or Sprange, but I've met them both, and they're really cool guys. In addition to being great game designers, I like them. So, Traveler Central Supply. What is it? Well, it's a catalog of stuff. It's an arms and equipment guide. It goes for $49.99 at all your finer retailers. Actually, it probably goes for less at your finer ones. It would go for more than that at your less than fine. So, what is the book? Well, it's exactly what it says it is. It's a catalog. It's in a catalog format, which I think is incredibly cool. And one of the coolest things is the ads in the book throughout. For example, this one, breaking news, mega sale for the best deals in the Marches, Ares, Quaid, Guns, Goods, and Beyond. Fully registered trader of the Central Supply Catalog by the Traveler's Aid Society. Which, as you know, if you're a Traveler player, that it's a Traveler's Aid Society is the overarching throughout, woven through. I don't know what's with the interpretive dance, but there you go. And it has the Varger Service Guarantee stamp. So, Vargers. All customers who quote Ares Mega Sale get an additional 10% off all purchases. So it's really cool. It's immersive. That's the thing that I've often mentioned throughout reviews and various other discussions of various games and the like. I have often stated that immersion is one of, if not the most important aspect of gaming, primarily because Walt Disney actually made me think. He said at one point in time that nothing is as immersive to a moviegoer than a incredible soundtrack. And as we know, or should know, or maybe you disagree, I don't know, but as is widely accepted, an immersive soundtrack, I mean, music, it touches us and it reaches into us and it pulls out things from our past, our memories, or it sets the precedence for new memories. And immersion it gets you into the game. This, you can't have a musical book, a soundtrack in a book, so they do so with images because a picture's worth 1,000 words and very few songs have lyrics that long. So these illustrations with the various, for instance, this on page 9 here, this ad it's an ad for the TL6 Tech Level 6 assault shotgun with this big 70 caliber rounds, which that 12 gauge is 70 caliber, I believe, if memory serves. If it does, I would like an espresso with coconut. And also, it has a 01101001010 as a barcode, and that equates to 1,682 for whatever reason. So the ads get you into the flavor of it, to make a long story short. Too late. And the book covers, and I'll go through the table of contents here briefly, the introduction, the equipment availability, new rules, personal protection, survival gear, electronics, computers and software, robots, tools and engineering, medical supplies, personal augmentation, home comforts, close and personal, self-defense, heavy weaponry for the discerning weapon specialist, ammunition, and sighting aids and accessories. Now, these are all very important things for your character to survive, and it covers very well. The format of the pages are delineated very clearly. It's very easy to read, and that is not to be confused with dumbed down, because it is not dumbed down. It is just written really clearly. And I know about clear writing because I've written enough freaking term papers in my life that I can read one as well. So, equipment availability. Availability is delineated, that's the word of the day. Availability, whether it's considered to be anywhere from highly specialized to a world at the other end. If it's highly specialized, it may not be available, so you have a die modifier of -1 on your roll to see if it's available. If the world population is 12 or better, then you have a die modifier of +2. So, and then there's a lot of things in between from, well, actually the item's tech level is 10 or more steps away from the world's tech level is -4. And the world population is 0, it is also -4. 0 does not mean 0, it means O, as in, well, it does mean, it is the number 0, but that doesn't mean no population, I think. I'll have to look. But the world population is 0, it's -4. Then you can have all the way up to +2 for if the world has HI, HT, IN, and or RI trade codes, which are high levels of trading. And if the world population is 12 or better, then you also have a higher chance of finding the weapon. So the referee's fiat, the referee, and Lyric and I had a podcast on the Table 5 podcast about that. We call it Dungeon Master even if we're playing a cowboy campaign, just because of our training. In addition, a referee may apply his own modifier of -3 to +3, just depending on the individual circumstances. So I'm glad that they reminded the reader of that, because it's true. I mean, you could flat out deny it or say, well, yeah, of course it's here. Being the referee, you have the option of doing all that stuff. So -3 to +3 is that's a good spectrum to allow. Then tech level and law level, etc., are also factors. And you can use your streetwise checks or etc., etc. Black market is also a possibility for buying and selling weapons. And then it goes through the category of unrestricted, military use only, civilian use, etc., etc. So it does all that. Law enforcement response for negative effects on streetwise checks, and it just goes through this whole process of discovering whether or not the weapon's available, how you can go about getting it. And once again, Traveler departs from, because there's no levels in Traveler and there's no experience points, and you begin gameplay as soon as you start rolling up your character. That's wonderful. I love that, because it begins to be immersive from the first roll of the dice, and it continues throughout the game, which that's why Traveler is my favorite science fiction sci-fi role-playing game. Even though you could very well use Traveler because of the various tech levels, tech level 0, Stone Age, anything from Stone Age up, there you go. So it doesn't have to be just sci-fi. It can be Victorian or Camelot or whatever, Duck World. It's Traveler, man. So, new rules it goes through. Artillery weapons shoot projectiles along its ballistic trajectory, allowing them to lob shots into targets that are out of sight. Yes, that is true. In holding with that, if it has the artillery heading, then it's an indirect fire weapon. Here's a heading that I think might be a little bit redundant, even though that's not what it means. A weapon can be dangerous. Like, okay, well that's right. No, this weapon can be as lethal to the Traveler using it as his intended target. If an attack roll is made by this weapon with an effect of -5 or worse, it explodes like a blunderbuss that you've overpacked. Its damage is inflicted upon the Traveler while firing it, and the weapon is rendered inoperable. So if you get a dangerous weapon, just be aware that you could blow your own head off. Fire. This weapon sets a target on fire, causing damage every round after the initial attack. The target can only be set on fire by one fire weapon at a time. Obviously, since you're on fire, you can't be set on fire again until the first fire subsequently goes out. So forth. So there are a number of new rules. Single-use weapons, silent weapons. Love suppressors and silencers and weapons that don't go bang. Weapons that go are some of the coolest. Even in video games, I love that. I don't know why. I guess it's because I'm a musician, and I value my hearing somewhat more than I used to. Playing on stage for years, man, I get that tinnitus going on, and whew, man. So, with the new rules out of the way, then we get into the actual catalog, which the catalog is incredibly cool. It has pictures of every single thing, and you know how I am for good illustrations. And the illustrations they're not photorealistic, but the artwork it's kind of comic booky, kind of cartoony, but it's not like silly cartoony. It's realistic cartoony. It's like actual, comic book stuff and like superhero stuff, and I really like the artwork, so that gets big pluses for me. Anti-energy armor, I feel like I'm wearing that now. I'm wearing anti-energy underwear. Then you've got stuff like reflect and natural sheath, all these armors, a vac suit for boarding, and it has, because when you can see the armor, when you can see the picture of the armor, then you can imagine your character wearing said armor, such as the hostile environment vac suit and the explosive ordnance disposal suit. Very cool. The pressure sleeve that's a whole body thing. It's not just a sleeve you put on. It says, come on, man, come on, do it, come on. Your sleeve is saying that to you. The Psi enhanced combat armor. And again, when Lyric and I were talking about favorite classes, one of my favorite things is the Psi thing. Psionics, man. So all of these suits of armor, it has the stats of each weapon, of each suit, such as its protection, its tech level, the rads, the kilograms, how much it costs, and the required skill. For instance, in order to wear the mechanical carapace, it gives you +8 protection at tech level 9, or a mechanical suit, and then the carapace it's a little bit easier to put on because you only need a vac suit 1, whereas the mechanical you need to have vac suit 2. It's a lower tech level by 3 than the carapace. Carapace is a 12, and the mechanical is 9, and so it just makes sense that it's a little clunkier, a little less efficient, a little less. That's what I'm looking for, intuitive to put on. And so there you go. The powered plate, it has 2 different tech levels. The tech level 10 is a vac suit 1 to put on, to don properly to where it works. Because these are not just sweaters and such and jeans that you put on. These are very complicated, very complex pieces of machinery that intertwine to make a new and better you and protect you. Powered plate it's got protection of 18, so it's like ain't nothing getting through there. But it's tech level 14, and it only requires vac suit of 0. So if you've got like a jack of all trades, then you can wear that. You can put all that stuff on. So if you're rolling up your character and you get the option for vac suit, just know that if you turn that down for something like carousing or something, that your very life could depend on being able to put on that suit, because if there's nobody there to help you, then you're not going to get it on properly. So just a little side note there. Modifications. The modifications section, after reading through this, it's very cool. For example, it has you can get a modification of a friend or foe HUD. Several tiny scanners and cameras implanted in the armor keep track of registered friendly transponders. The HUD itself comes equipped with its own transponder, so you don't accidentally shoot yourself thinking you are an enemy, and marks targets without transponders as potential enemies. This information shows up on a visor-based HUD, allowing the traveler to know the exact location of allies and enemies within his line of sight, or up to a kilometer away, whichever is greater, as well as avoiding potential friendly fire incident. This system grants a die modifier +1 to any tactics check the traveler makes. So yeah, I mean, all of these modifications, and there are a few of them. There are 2 pages of them, and it goes everywhere from additional padding to the thruster pack, like jump jets. So they've covered quite a bit, and it's quite minefield boots, submarine functionality, magnetic grapples. You can be like Metroid up in there with Samus, and so forth. So thumbs up for that. Then it has a section on battle dress, which are the actual armors, for crying out loud. The artillery battle dress is more heavily armored than standard and has heavier servos that enable it to carry powerful integral weapons. However, it is too large and clumsy to use handheld weapons normally, and any attempt to do so will result in a bane being applied to all attack rolls. You'd be molded by it, steeped in it. So the artillery battle dress, the tech level 14 is it gives you plus 29 protection, whereas let's see, I think that's the greatest suit. That is the biggest suit. The least protection you can get from full battle dress, I believe, is 22. The ceramic battle dress gives you plus tech level 13 gives you a plus 22 to your protection. So anytime you get your lies. The scout battle dress has a protection of plus 20. So if you get your hands on a suit of battle dress, you've got a lot of protection there, regardless. Then it has, without going through each individual item, it covers a very wide range of armors. I mean, just the armors. So it goes from the armors to the battle dress. The first section is archaic, half plate, breastplate, full plate. I mean, it's actual plate mail, actual plate armor. Then you've got a section on armor, just armor, like ceramic and cloth and the like. Then we have anti-energy armor, which is like ablat, which is ablative armor that burns away with lasers, but it protects you from lasers. Electronics suite, non-powered suits. Then it goes to atmospheric protection, Arctic and cold environments, desert and arid environments, marine environments, mountains and cliffs, vacuum environments, general survival gear. Okay, after the armor, we get into the general survival gear, and it is replete, if you will, with various gear. I mean, it looks like a pro bass shop or a Dick's Sporting Goods looking set of future. You know what that's going to look like in 100 years from now. So you've got things like the protein tap, the internal combustion generator, which is just a straight up ring ding ding. Micro turbine generators, a pocket saw. You don't want that coming open while you're jogging. The infinite rope, very much like the liquid rope in Star Wars. You know, the kind that when Luke pulled the thing out and the grapple and threw it and swung across the thing while stormtroopers were shooting at birds or whatever. The infinite rope is stored in liquid form within a device looking like a caulk gun. It's a bacterium binding to itself with amazing strength and flexibility. When needed, the trigger on the gun is pulled and a length of rope is produced. So, Spider-Man, right? And so forth. And then they've got prefabricated cabins, which I would love to have one of these suckers. And so forth. And then it has a whole list of electronics that you can use, such as the infrared electric torch, the PRIS binoculars, portable radiation imaging system is what PRIS stands for, light intensifier goggles, Psi-Finder goggles, which that's if you've got a campaign that you're against scions for whatever reason, you buy a set of electronic binoculars, Geiger counters. Then it has communications like transceivers, and then it tells about their range, which is a thing that is sorely missing from a lot of sci-fi, is the minute details that some people like the details, some people don't. For instance, in Starfinder, the actual speeds of the ships and speed capabilities are not given because they say it's the narrative that is more important than the actual science behind it. And that was one of the few things that I actually disagreed with the Starfinder stuff, is that when you have actual science fiction, right? So you've got extra sci-fi stuff that has no science to back it. Even if the science is outlandishly crazy, it removes the suspension of disbelief for me personally. You may not want to bother with it. If so, that's fine, because we reinforce this. It's your game, and that's the most important thing. So it has the range. For instance, the Tech Level 5 radio is 5 kilometers, has a maximum range. Tech Level 5 though. Tech Level 14 is regional. That's a radio transceiver. It's 500 kilometers. Laser transceivers is like 500, also 500 kilometers for that, and that's just a radio transceiver. They also have things like, well, I think it's a higher tech level than what Traveler gets into. It's things like 17 or 18, but the Ansible, where it's quantum entanglement that works instantaneously across both spectrums, regardless of distance. So they have the Ansible. The theory of the Ansible is to have a box with a quantum entangled set of like a quantum entangled transducer. And you talk into it, and it hears the sound, and it vibrates to your voice. And then the other one that is also quantum entangled, no matter where it is in the universe, it also does that, and then it picks up. So that's instant communication across any distance, literally any distance. That's a cool thing. Little side note. Then it goes through computers and software, which I think is very cool. In the old days of Traveler, computers, it really wasn't well known what computers could do, because they were brand new things. And it was like a meme I just saw about Bill Gates saying in 1980 something, he was saying, who knows what computers will be able to do in 30 years, what wonders, what marvels. And then it showed a computer simulation of 100 Tyrannosaurus Rex against 10,000 chickens. That's what marvels we have attained. It has a whole section on robots, such as the Centurion, the astromech droid, which is very much an R2-D2 with a little hand at his head like that. Protocol droid. Oh my God, the protocol droid, really? This is I just noticed this. Astromech droid right next to the protocol droid. C-3PO. Sanitation droid, which everyone should own one of those. And utility droids, and then it has a whole section on tools, and everything has the same format. It's got its faux serial number, and then it has the item, its tech level, how much it weighs, how much it costs, in the terms of tools, and all those things are very important. And it brief description thereof, and then a picture thereof. Except for things that don't really need pictures. Well, it does have the shovel, the sledgehammer, the ice pick. I mean the ice hammer, and so forth. But it doesn't. Actually, it does. Here on the next page, I'll be darned. So yeah, it illustrates everything. It's got medical supplies, and with ads. Break your limits. Truth serum, starlight drops, radiation emergency applicator. Then it has a section on personal augmentation, like the Aslan Cyberclaw, the combat arm, a crude prosthetic, which is tech level 3, like, Cat Mayhab and his peg leg. Then the combat arm is an implant. It gives you an extra arm, and so forth. And then it has torso, head, augmentations, and various other options. And then, of course, the home comforts. You could get into that. I mean, it's immersive. It covers everything. Not everything is to get you prepared for the field. Close and personal, bludgeoning weapons, the mace, the grab hammer, so forth. The arc field weapon, which is tech level 14, which is a dense conductive fibers that are flooded with energy from a self-contained power pack, and it creates a plane of energy that can slice through nearly anything, which is akin to a lightsaber of a sorts. Then, of course, it has the side dagger and vibro blades and so forth. Very happy with this. And then it has self-defense of all the guns. I think guns are the biggest selection, the largest selection. Each one has a very cool illustration. It just has an entire section for artillery, such as the black powder mortar. It's basically a bombard. And then the light howitzer, which I carry one of those with me. I've got a carry permit for the light howitzer, because you just never know. Siege guns. These are things that are mounted on the floor or on a hard surface, and so forth. The medium autocannon, Vulcan machine gun, and so forth. Orbital defense cannons. Every household should have one of those. It has a range of 5 and 4 DD of damage. It costs 10,000 credits per magazine, and the magazine holds 20 shots. So if you've got a little bit of money, you live maybe in Dubai, and you want to impress your neighbors, go to a wedding with your friendly neighborhood orbital defense cannon, you can do that. Then it's got rockets and missiles, gun combat weapons such as bolas and boomerangs, monofilament bolas. Oh, that's like Predator stuff right there. Very cool. The breaching charge, it's got explosives, and it ends up, the book ends with sighting aids and accessories such as scopes and bayonets, chain drive bayonet, which That's very Warhammer right there. Friend or foe safety. So if you accidentally point your gun at a friend, that has from your HUD, if you accidentally point a gun at them because you're excited and you want to kill something, the safety will come on and you won't be able to fire. Which is kind of dangerous if one of your friends actually is a spy or something and they betray you and you want to blow their brains all over the cabin of your new starship, and you can't because your gun has a safety. We've got a gyro stabilizer for bulky weapons, heavy tripods, so forth and so on, holographic sights, laser sights. Yeah, it makes you want to play. And then it goes to the index, which, has everything in it. So, this is, of course, getting 5 axes from me because it is well presented. It is not dumbed down. Very creative. It has a really good format. Very, very easy to read, and it's got a lot of stuff in it. The content is fantastic. So, again, that is the Traveler Central Supply catalog from Mongoose Publishing. Goes for $49.99, and look them up. Google Mongoose. www.mongoosepublishing.com, I believe, and look them up and get this book for your collection, because even though Traveler has the original core rule book has weapons and armor and stuff like that in it, this book it just has it has more. And like the dude's trying to sell me a microphone at Guitar Center, and he said, this mic is really awesome. And I said, I already have one of these. And he said, yeah, but if you buy this one, you'll have 2. I'm like, that's a really good point. So 5 axes, officially 5, for the Traveler Central Supply catalog from Mongoose Publishing. And on that happy note, I am Dr. Jeff Goins, wishing for you to want for nothing but adventure. And on behalf of the entire cast and crew of the Dwarven Tavern, at first I feared it, then I charged. And thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.